Hey guys, RazorQuake17 here with another Transformers Earth Wars video, and today's episode is all about power cores. I'm going to show you some of the crystal crackings I did to get some power cores, and then I'm going to go through my initial impressions of some of the bot and building power cores. Now you may notice I've got quite a few power cores on my buildings, and the reason for that is that a few months ago I started saving my freebie crystals, and initially I was just saving them for the release of Predaking, but then I heard that power cores would come from duplicate crystals, so I just kept saving them until power cores dropped. And with the release of power cores a couple of days ago, cracked open all my crystals, and now I have a ton of power cores. Now I'd like to show a few of the crystals that I cracked and a few of the good power cores I pulled. Not going to show all the crystals because I had over 250 and it took over 30 minutes to get through them all. So I'm just going to show a quick highlights package of the best power core pulls. And as you can see, there is 248 freebie crystals, 3 bronze chips, 3 3-star crystals, and 4 2-star crystals. Started off with the bronze chips, and nothing too exciting from them. But once I got through all of those, I moved on to the freebie crystals, and that's when I started to get some decent power cores. So the first decent power core I pulled from a crystal was from a 2-star Viper, gave me a target protocol core. The next one was a dupe 3-star SCOURGE from a freebie, and that gave me a gold Death Pulse core. I was very surprised to get a gold core from a freebie, so it was a nice surprise. The next one was 3-star dupe breakdown, giving me a silver reflective coating core. And then the one after that was a dupe long haul 3-star, giving me a silver vitality core. Now the next one's not a highlight, it's just the last of my 2-star crystals, and then it was onto my 3-star crystals. Actually got enough shards for another 3-star crystal, so that's why I now have 4 3-star crystals. And the first of these crystals gave me another dupe long haul, and that gave me a silver Death Pulse core. And then the second 3-star crystal, that actually gave me a new bot. It gave me a 3-star Scavenger. Now I've already got him in 4-star, so I'm probably not going to use him very much. The next 3-star crystal, that gave me a dupe MIXMASTER, and I got a silver Trithelium plating core from that one. And the final 3-star crystal gave me a dupe Breakneck, and I got a silver Wallbuster crystal from that one. So all up, I managed to pull from those 250 crystals, I pulled 6 silver cores and 1 gold core. And now I'll go in and have a look at the specific cores, starting with the bot cores. And as you can see, got quite a few different bot cores there. We'll start with the universal cores. And the first one here is the Vitality Core, Silver Vitality Core. And I think the Vitality Core is a good all-purpose core. Put it on any of your bots and it'll give them a bit more toughness. And I put it on my 4-star Rampage because he's the primary tank in my war team. And for a 4-star, he hasn't got fantastic health, so put that core on him to give him a bit more toughness. I've also got this silver Wallbuster core. Still deciding how I'm going to use that one. One use might be on gunners to give them a bit more power against time trap bases and make them more effective. And I might also consider putting them on Straxus as well. But I've also got a lot of these general attack boosting cores. So giving the bots a little bit more attack is always nice. Got a rejuvenate core as well. And some tactician cores. So that's it for the universal ones. Now for the warrior specific power cores. And there's my lone gold power core. And it's kind of sitting there just taunting me a little bit, because I wasn't super impressed with the Death Pulse core. I don't think on offense it's going to be particularly effective. It does stun defenses in quite a large area, similar to what Scrapnel or Bumblebee can do. But personally, I don't think it's one of the better cores around at the moment. For defense, it's a bit of a different story. I'm assuming these power cores work on outpost bots, and I think this would be a pretty effective core on defense, especially if you've got shock towers surrounded by outposts. Once your outpost bots pop out and it's got one of these Death Pulse cores on it, once that bot dies, it'll stun all the attacking bots in the area. So I think that'll be a great core for defense, but not so much offense. And another of the warrior specific cores is the Trithelium plating core. I think this is a pretty solid core to have. The thing is, when you're doing attacks, a lot of the time you will use your abilities on the long range defenses like mortars and lasers, and you won't use it on the autocannons. So that means the autocannons will probably hang around for a while. So this Trithelium plating core is good for mitigating some of the damage from those autocannons. So I think it's a pretty solid core to have for warriors. Next bot specific core are the air power cores, and you can see my silver reflective coating core is on my 4-star Scourge, and I think that's a perfect match because Scourge and Strafe are two bots that spend a lot of time in the air, and they're very vulnerable to the new anti-air laser turret core. So this reflective coating core will give them a bit more toughness and counterbalance some of the damage they'll take from those laser turrets. Next category is the gunner power cores, and I've got plenty of bronze flak jackets, and I think flak jacket is an okay core to have, especially useful if you've got a team with a lot of gunners. Can give them a bit more toughness, especially against mortars and missile launchers. The one gunner core that I don't have is the volatile mixture core, and I actually think the volatile mixture core is the best bot core in the game right now, and the reason is that it boosts the damage of your special ability for your gunners. So it gives your one-shot gunners the ability to one-shot those buildings a bit earlier, and also if those buildings have got some the armor core on them, it will counterbalance some of that. So I definitely think the volatile mixture core is a fantastic bot core, and I'm crossing my fingers that I will get one of them soon. Next category are the medic power cores. The ray boosters give the healers a bit more healing power, and my lone bot specific core is Starscream's Crown from the campaign. Now I'll move on to the building cores, and as you can see I've got quite a few building cores, but one general comment I will make is that with power cores in general, the bot cores give your bots, make them a bit stronger, but the building cores make your buildings even stronger. So I think the power cores tip the balance slightly in favor of defenses now, and especially against your max level HQ15 bases. I think those bases are going to be quite a bit tougher now. So looking at the universal power cores, we've got a lot of these attack boosting cores, which they're always helpful, give your buildings a bit more attacking power. But the really significant core, in my opinion, it's these armor cores. And I've started to notice a trend, and I think it's going to become even more popular, putting this armor core on your mortars, because mortars already at HQ 15 max level, the mortars are going to have 3,300 health, which is already a lot of health and makes them difficult to one-shot unless you've got high level bots. This core, this armor core, makes them even tougher to one-shot because it increases their hit points. So unless you've got that volatile mixture core, which I mentioned earlier, your gunners, your one-shot gunners like Brawl and Long Haul are going to have to be even higher level to one-shot your mortars if they've got this armor core equipped. And your aerial units as well, like Blast Off and Starscream, they won't be able to one-shot the mortars with this core on them unless they're at a very high level. So I'm talking minimum level 54, but more likely level 55 or level 56 to one-shot those mortars. So that alone is going to be make a big difference in wars. Next building specific core is the explosive shells core, and my initial impression is it's not a super effective core, because even though it does area of effect damage, it halves the damage that autocannons do. Now I'm sure people can design their bases in a way to really group up the attacking team and make use of this explosive shells core. But personally, I don't think I'll be using it too much, at least initially. The next building specific core, it's the laser turret cores and the anti-air laser cores, which I've already talked about. Now these cores are great against aerial attackers. They turn your laser turrets into aerial bot killers, and especially useful against Scourge and Strafe, because as I've mentioned before, they spend a lot of time in the air, so these anti-air turrets will cause a lot of damage to those two bots. And so any areas of your base vulnerable to Scourge and Strafe, put a couple of these anti-air laser turrets nearby, and they will really help a lot, in my opinion. Moving on now to mortar specific cores. And as I mentioned, I think the best core for mortars is going to be the armor core to give them more hit points. So these cores, in my opinion, are going to be secondary, especially the target protocol core. A lot of the time attackers will target the mortars first with their gunners and with their flyers. So even though this core targets gunners and medics, I think the fact that mortars get taken out pretty quickly means that this core isn't going to be that effective most of the time. The other core you've got here is the incendiary core. Bumps up the damage that mortars do by giving some fire explosions. So a solid core, but again not as effective as the building armor core that I mentioned before. The only other building specific core is for missile launchers. Haven't got one of them, but it's the guided missile core. And again, I'm not super impressed with that core, because one of the really good things about missile launchers at the moment is that they do area of effect damage. So if there's a couple of bots grouped together, say a few gunners grouped together, a few healers, a few tanks, Your missile launchers can damage all the bots in an area, but if you put the guided missile core on your missile launchers, you're going to lose that area of effect damage. It's only going to be able to damage one of your bots. So for that reason alone, I think the guided missile core isn't super effective, but maybe we'll see how people use them, and maybe they can turn it into an effective core. So that's my initial impressions of power cores, and let me know in the comments what you think of those impressions, if you agree, if you disagree, or if you've got some other observations. Thanks for watching, guys. This is RazorQuake17, and I'll see you guys later.